Hi, I wanted to talk about sitting tolerance today, and it's an important topic. Most parents come to me with this concern that their child is not sitting at one place. It is a very, very important skill, and it is equally important how to know and what all to do to work on sitting tolerance. So, the first and foremost thing is to be aware of the fact that is your child ready for sitting for longer periods of time. When parents come to me at 2.5 years of age and they are expecting their child to sit for like 10, 15 minutes or maybe even 30 minutes, it is not developmentally appropriate for a younger child at 2.5 years, 3 years of age to be able to sit at one place and learn. The reason is because these are the kids who are supposed to run, jump, play, explore their environments. And the more they explore the environment, the more they are able to sit at one place. you know at one place I read that stillness is the highest state of movement. I may not be saying it well, but what I mean is that if I'm able to sit still, that means I've had enough movement opportunities. So, what I'm trying to convey here is that if your child is very little, there are a lot of norms available where on Google nowadays, how long should your child be sitting for your age? Typically, a 5-year-old child would sit up to 9 minutes. So, if you can consider younger kids, I wouldn't make them sit longer than 9 minutes or maybe even 5, 7, 10 minutes max. If I make them sit, if I teach them how to sit, they'll definitely learn it. But is that something that they should be doing for that age? Is something that I think as a parent we need to consider, or as a caregiver, or as a therapist, or as a teacher. And with this COVID thing, kids are expected to sit in front of a screen, look at the camera the way I'm looking right now, and answer questions to teachers, to whatever that's been asked. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that. Of course, we are adapting, we are trying to be resilient in such times. But what I'm trying to convey here is that expecting these little ones to sit at one place for longer than 15-20 minutes doesn't seem like a very great uh, idea to me. So what I'm trying to convey is, before I work on sitting tolerance, I need to check what is the age of my child. Is my child at a developmental age where he can sit for longer periods of time? When I do my sessions nowadays, it's more on a screen the way I'm sitting right now. And after every 45 minutes or an hour, I want to move around. I don't want to sit at one place. My body demands movement. When I move around, that's when I can focus. And same is true for all of us. The more we move, the more it helps us to find our center and to be able to pay more attention and focus on what we are doing. So, what I'm trying to tell you is, one thing that we need to consider while we work on sitting tolerance is, my child developmentally ready for sitting for longer periods of time? I will not make a 3-year-old sit for half an hour at a stretch. The second thing I feel I need to consider is my child getting enough time playing outdoors? Is my child playing and is in nature? Because if the child is not in nature, if the child is not getting enough physical activities, it would be difficult for a child to be able to sit at one place for longer periods of time. You know, I understand because of Corona, there are lockdown restrictions and people can't go out. So, what I'm only trying to convey is, the more the amount of physical activity, meaningful physical activity, the more the child will be able to sit. And as and when you feel it is possible, the more the child spends time outdoors, plays outdoors, the more he will be able to sit at one place for longer periods of time. So that's the second important thing to consider: is my child playing outdoors? Is my child getting enough time to explore that big large area outside. I remember as kids, when I was very naughty, or when I would not sit at one place, our teachers knew that we need movement, so they would tell us, go get me books from the staff room, or go and wipe the blackboard, or whatever. They made us do things because they could sense, oh, this child needs more movement, and they would give us movements in a way which made us feel good about ourselves. So that's the second part of it. So when I'm working on sitting tolerance, the first bit is my child developmentally ready? Is my child getting enough opportunities to be outdoors? Okay. Third, okay, even when the child is outdoors, am I micromanaging? Am I telling my child, okay, climb on the swing? All right, done, done, done. Now do the slide. Okay, do it only 10 times. Huh? Then done, 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 finished. Okay, now let's go for a walk. Okay, do cycling for this long. So when I do this, I'm not letting the child decide what he wants. I'm not letting him be in touch with his own inner drive. We all have this inner urge to play. So when I'm micromanaging, I'm not letting my child discover his own self. I'm not letting my child push himself beyond his limits. So I think that's very important too. So one is outdoor opportunities, and in those outdoor opportunities, is it child led or is it adult led? That's important. We as adults are there for taking care of their safety. We're not there to micromanage and break every single step for them. That's the second bit of it. The third bit is, what is the kind of food that your child is eating? Is he eating a lot of colored foods, processed foods, packet foods? I remember as kids, we used to get all of these foods, like, I don't know, once in 6 months, maybe. Very little. Even the chocolates and all were like negligible. We didn't have them. At least I didn't have them. So, what I'm trying to tell you are is my child eating homemade food, or is my child eating the kind of food that will make him hyperactive? So that's another thing that I'll take care of if I am working on the sitting tolerance. The fourth thing that I would work upon is sleep. Very important. Sleep is like extremely important. Nowadays, most parents who come to me, they do not have a sleep routine. The child sleeps at any time, sleeps late at night. There's no fixed time for sleeping. And sleep at 12 o'clock at night, 12:30 has become like a very normal thing. But the developmental or the needs of a body still the same. They don't change, because of our lifestyle changes. The needs of a body don't change. So a child will need sleeping earlier and having a same time to sleep every day. Are we taking care of that? That's another important thing if we are working on sitting tolerance. The next important thing that I feel we need to take care of, if we've if your child is still hyperactive, not able to sit at one place, and you've managed the sleep, you're giving only homemade food, you're also taking care that there is good outdoor activities, you're not making him sit for longer, and this child is still not able to sit at one place, then I think it's important to meet an occupational therapist to check for sensory processing issues, meet a developmental pediatrician, understand if there are other things that need work. It could be maybe the child has some difficulty where he needs support from a therapist. So it could be a sensory processing issue, it could be an attention deficit hyperactive disorder. We don't know what it is, but meeting up an expert would help. Then another thing that's very important is to take care if the primitive reflexes are integrated. There are some reflexes like spinal gallant reflex, even Moro, fear paralysis reflex, Babinski, STNR, ATNR. If these reflexes are present, the child would find it difficult to sit at one place and focus. It would be difficult for the child. So I think it's important that we are taking care and supporting our kids to help them be able to sit at one place. Yeah. And now you've done everything. You've met us doctor, you've started therapies, you've worked on primitive reflexes, you are making the child sleep on time, you're giving the child home cooked food, you're not making the child sit at one place for longer, you're taking care that you're not extending it a lot, and still it's difficult for your child to sit at one place, then we need to check if I am doing the activities which the child finds or rather enjoys. Sometimes tasks that we do with our kids, they find it really difficult. When it's really difficult, they really avoid, and they would rather have a tantrum, or they keep having a meltdown, they don't want to sit at one place. Then it's more about behavior. Okay. And if it is about behavior, what is the emotion beneath the behavior? Is it that it's difficult? And if it is difficult, what can we do? Am i am i giving a lot of criticism or judging the child when he's not able to do it because I am getting stressed out as a parent? you know Sometimes kids are scared. They feel that parent will shout at them, so they avoid. It becomes like a pattern for them. So I feel it's very important to check if the activity that you're doing with the child is very difficult. And what is your mood? How are you teaching that to your child? Are you very supportive? Are you very compassionate? Are you being empathetic? Or are you being very judgmental and judging your child? Why are you not doing this? Putting all your stress on the child. Why is it taking so long? I've been teaching you since so many days, like, or whatever. I mean, am I doing that? I'm not judging anyone here. I do the same. I'm a parent. I am aware of all of these things, and I'm still working on myself. What I'm trying to tell you is having a knowledge of all of these principles and using them while there is a tantrum and when the problem is happening. That coordination of a thought and applying that technique when it is really happening takes practice. And I'm sure you'll get there. So, what I'm trying to tell you is, when your child is not able to do, is it difficult for the child? And if it is difficult, are you doing things that the child loves to do? Are you talking about things that your child loves to talk about? So is there something that you're doing which is very good that the child likes, and then do a task which the child finds it difficult, and then again a task which the child finds it very enjoyable and has fun? So am I doing that kind of a sandwiching that would help him with sitting tolerance? Am I praising enough? Am I appreciating enough? That's another important thing. So I hope that helps you, and these tips help you to help your child sit at one place for longer, because it is important to be able to sit and learn. And while I be open to providing moving opportunities, if my child can't sit at one place, maybe sometimes child needs to move and learn, and that is his or her preferred way of learning, then I would encourage that also, while I work on therapies so that the sitting tolerance gets better. I hope that was helpful. Thank you.